Can you hear?
Anything y'all want to do today? See, now you made him raise his hand because he thought you said, I'm new. Core? Okay. Anyone else?
Some hip openers, outer hip.
Okay.
And inner hip. She's going to do outer, I want inner.
Okay. I tend to do them all anyway, but I just put an emphasis on one more than the other. Yeah. Or one more than the others. Right? There's a few different muscles that make up your hip complex, but
Is frog pose too intense for AVM?
no. We'd have to work to get there. That would be inside of your thigh to get there, though.
All right.
That'd be a little bit different. A couple different moves. Okay. All right, take a nice seat. Close the eyes. Sit up tall. Take a couple breaths. Think about where you are in this moment. What are the different things that you're going to have to bring into your practice? For some of us, we'll concentrate on our breath. Maybe for some of us, it'll be engaging a little more, or finding that muscle energy. Maybe for some of us, it'll be that organic side where we're stretching or reaching or twisting. We want to try to push that a little further, whatever it might be. There's an intention that you set for your class, for your practice. And later, we'll probably check in on that. Like when we take a break, sometimes you hear me say something like, where have we been? Where are we now? Where do we still want to go, right? That's what you're checking in to realize, am I accomplishing what I set out to? That goal that I had? For all of us, we're going to turn to our breath a little bit more. We're going to do things like listen to ourselves breathe, or we're going to slow down the beginning of the inhale, and we're going to push more on the end of the exhale, or we're going to count out the breath. So the inhale is 2 or 3 seconds. We're going to make the exhale the same 2 or 3 seconds. Maybe some of us are going to find Ujjayi breath, where the air begins to rebound off the back of the throat. Lean back a little bit. Feel the sit bones root down into the mat. Now breathe like your spine is lifting. Your ribs are starting to open on the inhale. The belly's coming out. You're feeling space. On the exhale, as the belly draws in, let the shoulders settle back a little bit. Let the head and the throat settle back. You should be feeling those muscles running up your spine, your spinal erectors starting to engage a little bit more. What do they want to do? They want to let go, and your belly wants to crunch and your chest wants to fall to the floor. Don't let that happen. Keep sitting up tall. Imagine there's a string tied to your breastplate, like your sternum, the middle of your chest. And on the next inhale, let the arms lift. And pretend there's a string attached to the heels of your hands, and it's lifting you up, like it's pulling the back of your heart up through the front of your chest. Slide the throat back a little bit. Let the chin come down just a touch. feel how you can hold that space. And one time together to initiate our practice. Together, the sound of Om. All together. Deep breath in. We softly bow our head to our hearts, our heads to each other's hearts. Inhale, lift the head, open the eyes, release the hands. All right, let's start out in child's pose. So we'll be right here in the insides of the thighs. When the hip is in flexion like this, you are opening up the back of the hip, okay? More like glute max. It's not always as simple as one side and the opposite, right? But it's pretty close. So here, as you come into child's pose, your toes, your big toes are touching at the midline. Your knees are wide to the edges of your mat. Arms are up overhead. Now, you know, here we're going to do this a little more active. We're not really going to hang out or chill in child's pose because we're just getting going. So slide your forehead off the mat. So you're starting to feel some work now in the back of your neck and up your spine, especially between your shoulder blades, like north to south, from your head to your butt. You're feeling a lot of work happening there. Keep hugging the hands in. Keep the forearms lifting up. Keep the inner biceps lifting up. And then soften your chest down towards the mat a little bit. And you feel even more work happening between those shoulder blades running up the spine. Keep rooting the sit bones to the heels. And then breathe above the waist. Feel those side bodies starting to expand. So that's from hips to armpit. Feel that stretch coming up the arms, through the chest. One more breath. And then inhale, come up, all fours, hands and knees. Hands an inch or two in front of your shoulders, knees an inch or two behind your hips. Toes are curled. Belly buttons in, shutters are closed, right? You're not sure where your shutters are? Right here, the bottom of your ribs, the shutters want to blow open. Got to close the shutters, right? So we're hitting the top of that ab. Slide the throat back. Bring your gaze right across your fingertips. And now breathe, low mountain. Hug muscle to bone. You should be like hugging in every direction. You always hear me say, this is a powerful pose. We're not just hanging out waiting to do something next, right? We're in a posture right now. Low mountain. Keep hugging the forearms in. Keep squeezing the biceps. Keep sweeping the inner heels out. Keep hugging the shins in. Pull your heels to your butt. There's the legs. There's the upper body. Pull the belly in. Pull the shutters. There's the core. And then when you're ready, cat-cow. Inhale, arch the back, lift the sit bones, reach through the crown of the head. Exhale, round the back, look to your belly, lengthen your sit bones towards your heels. Your inhale, arch. Your exhale, round. Just move slow with your breath. We say breath initiates the movement. So if the inhale is 2 seconds, how long it's going to take for us to work through. It balances out the movement. So stay with your breath. Gets everything going. Slows everything down. And it holds. Right? Start, stop, and hold. Sometimes you hear me say accelerate, decelerate, and stabilize. One more, come to a neutral position. After you're done, find that flat back. What wants to happen to the belly button? This. Wants to fall to the floor. So you got to pull the belly button to the spine. Take a couple breaths. Next inhale, right arm up, left leg back, spinal balance. So my toes are only off the floor about like maybe 4 or 6 inches. If I go up this high, see it's going right into my lumbar spine. I'm not looking to engage these spinal erectors. I'm looking to just extend out of the hip. Exhale, lower. Inhale, left arm up, right leg back. Pull that belly in. Pull those shutters closed.
Keep hugging in front to back, side to side, top to bottom. Just keep pushing down. Exhale, lower. Right arm up, left leg back. The thumb points up, the toes point down. And when you're lifting, lift from the inner upper edge of the forearm and the inner upper edge of the thigh. Exhale, lower. Left arm up, right leg back. And now we reach. We reach back out of our heel. We reach forward out of our fingertips and the crown of our head. We even breathe and expand side to side. Exhale, lower. Now put it with your breath. Inhale, right arm up, left leg back. Exhale, lower. Inhale, left arm up, right leg back, or your side too. Exhale, lower. Keep it going. Remember the 2 or 3 second thing? So if it's 2 seconds to inhale, how long it takes to lift the arm and the leg. 2 seconds to exhale, how long it takes to lower. Kicking on the core here, right? Spinal balance is to really fire up this core, to create balance. Let's go one more each side. We started with right arm, left leg, or whatever your side one was. Let's finish with side two. We'll meet back in that all fours. Take a breath. Step back to plank. So here in plank, my shoulders are on top of my wrist crease, and I'm reaching out of my heels. So if you're too long, it would look something like this. We're too long. We got to be this way. Or it would be this way. Shoulders are behind the wrist. So line it all up. And then when you're ready, downward dog. So your downward dog is going to match your lunge here, right? They're going to link together. God damn it. Keep clawing into the floor so fingertips and knuckle pads are rooting down. Keep hugging the hands into the midline. Squeeze those biceps. Start to support those elbow joints. Keep the forearms lifting up. Keep the inner biceps lifting up. So you feel your shoulders moving out away from your neck. We want that. Slide the throat back so your cheeks are in line with your biceps. Now engage your legs. Connect to your core. Then maybe stretch. So in the upper body, we're going to push our hands down and forward. We're going to take our chest back towards our toenails. You'll feel that up the arms and the side bodies and the chest. Low body, we're going to reach from our hip down the back of the legs and out of the bottom of the heels. The inhale comes forward to plank. Exhale back to downward dog. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale back to downward dog. Keep it going. Now move slow. Link the breath to movement. On this next one, as you come forward, let the exhale lower, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra. Take 3 nice breaths. So you can stay low here. Some of you are going to want to come up a little bit higher. Play wherever feels good to you. But everybody's shoulders are back and down away from your ears. Lower the chest. Push up through plank. Back to downward dog. Now, if you want to soften the dog a little bit, make it a little more accessible, a little more therapeutic, you bend the knees. You want to express the pose a little bit further, you straighten the legs. One's not right and one's not wrong. The legs are just extending the pose. Those are not like the main elements of the posture. The main elements are your arms are overhead and your sit bones are reaching towards like where the ceiling and the wall meet at the back of the room. Extending the legs is just exactly that. You extending the pose. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, lower, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra. Take those 3 breaths. We're trying here, right, to over-engage the upper back. And we're trying to peel open our chest, our belly. After the 3 breaths, back to chaturanga or lower your chest. Push up through plank. Back to downward dog. Notice how your chin wants to fall to the middle of the mat. Don't let it. Keep sliding your throat like forward or towards the ceiling, right? Your head, so it doesn't fall behind you. And as you do that, you're going to feel those muscles in the neck engage. As you slide it all the way back, you're going to feel that energy between your shoulder blades north to south again, like in the spine. You want that. Now take the chest towards the toenails. Yep. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, lower chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra. Not this. It's this way. Yeah, we've been working on that. Shoulders back and down. Then after your 3 breaths, back to chaturanga or lower your chest. Push up through plank. Back to downward dog. Nice, y'all. Reach the right leg straight back. Step it through. Lunge. High on your fingertips of your blocks. Front knee is stacked right on top of our ankle and right in line with our second toe. Back leg lifting up strong. It's going to want to do this. So go up this way. Lift it up. Soften that front thigh down. Yep. Pull that left hip forward a little bit. Pull that pelvic floor up. So from your junk, pull your belly in. Pull your shutters closed. Let your heart reach out in front. Slide the throat back. Look out in front of your mat. Reach up out of the crown of the head. Inhale, come up, Virabhadrasana, 1 crescent. See, I don't lose this back leg. I'm still working this strong. I don't lose this front knee. It stays stacked right on top of that ankle. Pull the shutters closed. You're going to feel this lift of your spine. And now you can extend into pose. You can curl back a little bit. Keep going up and back. So we don't go back and down. We don't go in that low back. 1 more breath. Exhale the hands down. Left hand stays down. Right elbow draws back. Take the twist. Don't let that left hip go with you. All right, we need to lift that left hip up. That's below the waist. And twists are happening above the waist, more specifically in that thoracic spine, so even the middle upper back. 1 more breath. Inhale, come back to center. Place the hands down. Step back, downward dog. Nice, y'all. Inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, lower chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra, 3 breaths. Back of the heart slides forward out of the front of the chest. This is a back bend. Then after your 3 breaths, back to chaturanga or lower your chest. Push up through plank. Back to downward dog. Reach the left leg straight back. Step it through. Lunge. Make sure you're on, you don't want to be on a balance beam here, right? You want your feet to be like you're on a train track. They're hips width apart and they're parallel with each other, even though they're not next to one another. Then keep pushing down and pulling that front heel back and pulling those back toes forward. As you lift that back leg, the right thigh, soften the left thigh down. See if you can get it parallel with the floor. Now here we go again. All those chakras. So from root, like you're pulling up the pelvic floor, all the way to crown, like you're reaching up out of the crown of the head. And when you're ready, inhale, come up, Vira 1 crescent. See, when I come up slow. I come up real conscious, like I'm lifting like 20-pound weights. That way I can hold on to everything that I just worked for. Now I want to go even further here, so I'm going to pull the ribs shut, and that's going to lift the spine. Now I can curl back into the pose. And then whatever angle I'm on, I root down, I inhale, I rise it like I peel up, and then I go even deeper in the pose. 1 more breath. Control it as you exhale the hands down. This time the right hand stays down, the left elbow draws back. Maybe we reach up, take that twist. Don't let that right hip go with you. Yep, that's below the waist. So feel the difference. The big trick here is softening that left thigh down to the floor. Yeah, it'll make it easier to hold that right one up. And then inhale, come back to center, place the hand down. Nice, y'all. Step back, downward dog. When you're ready, inhale, come forward to plank. Exhale, lower, chaturanga. Inhale, cobra, baby cobra. 3 nice breaths. Last one here with the long hold. Notice how it's getting easier to hold those shoulders back. And then after those 3 breaths, back to chaturanga or lower your chest. Push up through plank. Back to downward dog. Look forward, bend your knees, step or jump between your hands, swing your arms up, take a nice big reach. And draw that belly in and lengthen those sit bones so you protect that low back. Reach up. Curl back. Inhale, come up, right hand behind your back, left hand to your elbow. Take the sacrum back. That puts the crease at the hip. You might lean forward, that's okay. Then push your head back into your forearm and use that force feedback to stand up a little straighter. Yeah, nice, y'all. Exhale, release. Inhale the arms up. Swap side 2. Mountain pose throughout the rest of the body. All right, full on here. Pushing down in the heels, right? Look, I'm fully engaged. Nothing's hanging out, right? Mountain pose. We're just in a variation here where we're doing the stretch. Do the shoulder, the arm, the chest. I always tell you there's a lot of shit that opens up right here. It's a big junction. Exhale, release. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold. Now, keep the weight balance in the feet. So balance in the feet is from your heel, ball of the foot, inner and outer edge. So make sure your heel stays rooted. It's easy to lose the weight in the heel because we're leaning forward. So keep that heel rooted. Keep sweeping the inner heels out. That shoots the energy up the back of the legs, hits you in glute med and piriformis, those pelvic stabilizers. When you hug the shins in, right, keep those inner arches lifting up and then hug the shins in, and those 2 actions will create energy running up the insides of your thighs. Heels to butt, butt to heels is the back of the legs. Pulling your kneecaps up to your waist is the front of the thighs. Now look forward again. Drag your fingers back towards your toes so you peel your spine out of your waist, and then go ahead and fold even deeper into that pose. See if maybe you can lower the blocks, or you can lower your hands, or maybe you can get your hands flat to the floor, whatever your flavor might be. Sit back as the knees bend, swing the arms up, big reach. Exhale, hands in front. Right leg forward, left leg back, triangle. So you could always bend into your lead knee a little bit, come to your warrior 2 or your Parsva stance. That'll help you figure out how long you need to be here. We tend to go short in triangle. So measure it up so you get that right distance. And take that left thigh back, take those left ribs back, bring the arms up. Get nice and tall here. Feel the side body starting to peel open. Yep, when you're ready, hinge at the right side of your hip. Bring your hand down to the block or the floor. Inside the foot will be a little more therapeutic. Outside the foot will be a little more challenging. Standing up might be challenging as well. We've all been there. Now keep spinning that right shoulder back. It's going to try to spin forward. You're going to root it back. Yep. Keep the left ear lifting to the ceiling so the head doesn't fall to the floor. Maybe look up, start to play with the balance. And inhale, come up. Bend into that lead knee, warrior 2. Take the hands behind the back. Interlace the fingers and bow to the inside of that right thigh. Come the humble warrior. Keep looking forward so the spine's long. And then as you hinge deeper at the hip crease, maybe start to reach the arms up overhead and deepen that stretch through the upper body. One more breath. Exhale the hands down to the floor. Spin that back heel up. Step forward. Swing the arms up. Big reach. Belly in. Sit bones down. Maybe curl back a little bit. Inhale, come up. Exhale, hands in front. Nice, y'all. Left leg forward, right leg back, triangle.
See, this always wants to happen. So right away, you want to take the top of the thigh back. You want to take the hip back. You want to take the ribs back on that right side. Get nice and tall. Yep, so side bodies are long. Then when you're ready, hinge at the left side of the hip. Bring the hand down to the block or the floor. Stay active from your feet, up through your legs, through the core, belly in, shutters closed, rotate open. So the top of the ribs go back, the bottom of the ribs go forward. Maybe we even start to look up. One more breath. Now push into that front heel and come up tall. When the hands go behind, bend into the lead knee. When the hands go behind the back, if your left pinky was under, right pinky this time. The uncomfortable way, for sure. And then bow to the inside of that left thigh. Look forward to the front right corner of your mat. There's the spine long. Yeah, you don't want to look to the midline. You want to look out front. Now maybe start to take those arms up overhead. Play with the pose a little bit. That's extending the pose. So go wherever feels good to you. One more breath. And then exhale the hands down, spin the back heel up, step forward, swing the arms up. Nice, y'all. Maybe curl back a little bit. Inhale, come up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, fold. Now play with the pose just like we did before. You can look forward, come to half fold. You can hang out there. You can inhale, come forward just for the breath, and then exhale, fold deeper. You could inhale, look forward, exhale, fold each breath, right? Wherever you want to be. Play with the pose wherever you want to play with it. One more breath. Inhale, look forward. And exhale, fold. Bend the knees, place the hands, step or jump back, downward dog. Move through your vinyasa 3 times. So we're going to flow a little bit here. Take your time, stay with your breath. We'll meet back in downward dog. Exhale, lower your knees. Child's pose. Take a couple breaths here. So now if you want your forehead to touch the mat, let it touch. Here we're chilling a couple breaths, right? Just recuperating a little, checking in. Here's one of those moments, right, so far. Where have we gone, right? Have you started to already tap in to some of those areas you wanted to play in today? Right? Where are we now? Okay, what are we feeling? And then what do we still want to go for? Now from here, if your arms aren't overhead, bring them overhead. Then we're going to inhale, we're going to come up. We're going to keep the knees wide and the feet together. We're going to exhale, soften our pelvis towards the floor. Inhale is going to push back up. Exhale is going to take the sit bones towards your heels. Inhale comes forward. Exhale softens the pelvis. Inhale pushes back up. Exhale pushes back. Let's keep going. Your breath. Right? Soften the pelvis means there's a lot of control here. We're not just collapsing or dumping. Let's do 2 more. That should bring us to about 5 or so. Stay with your breath. And
And then after this last one, we'll meet back in child's pose. Take 3 breaths. And then after your 3 breaths, we'll meet all 4s, hands and knees. Set it up. Low mountain. Keep pushing down, keep hugging in. Step back to plank. Stay here in plank. If you want to play with plank balance, right arm up, left leg back. Exhale, lower. Left arm up, right leg back. Exhale, lower. Work on your breath. If your feet are a little bit wider, it's going to be a little more accessible. If your feet are a little narrower, like mine is here, you can see it's a little more challenging. I go a little bit wider, it's a little more accessible. Keep going. We got about 10 seconds left. Stay with your breath. If you started with the right arm and the left leg, finish with left arm and right leg. And then from here, lower the knees. Walk the hands back, come to squat pose, Malasana. Let your knees track your toes. Keep hugging in first. So hug your knees in towards the midline. Now push your knees out. Yep. Keep driving your elbows down towards your knees. Just get a little bit of energy in through the upper back. Now you can stay here in Malasana. If you want to hit crow, we've been working on this the past couple weeks. You're going to lift your hips up. You're going to place your hands down, just like downward dog. I'm going to walk my feet together so my big toe mounds are touching. My knees are on the back of my arms. I'm looking forward, and the weight starts to shift forward, and my feet get light. Then my feet start to come up off the floor, so I pull my heels to my butt, and then I push my hands down into the floor like I'm trying to straighten my arms. Nice, y'all. Yeah. Remember we talked about it the other day where if my knees are here from Malasana, right? See how they're on the outside of my arms? This is a little more adduction. I'm going to have to hug in a little bit more. If I want to stack my knees, I'm going to get a little more foundation. It's going to make the pose a little more accessible. Right? It's not like a right or wrong. It's just wherever you want to play. What's going to bring the best pose out for you? Down. Yeah, keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. I had the fan on. The fan should have kicked on when that kicked off. Keep going. There you go. There's the sound.
Oh my God, I was like, is it just me?
Got the heat going on crow pose? Does. All right, let's, while we're here, let's counter that up a little bit. Take your right leg over your left. Take your feet apart. Sit back between your heels. You could sit up on your blanket if you feel like this is a little tough. Sit up on your blanket or your bolster and lift your butt up a little bit. Keep your feet out to the side. Activate your feet. Reach down to that left sit bone, pull it back and out to the side. And do the same thing to the right one. Back, you could even turn this right thigh in a little bit. And you'll feel this right sit bone got closer to the floor. Sit up nice and tall. Left arm in front, plug it in, reach behind you. Right hand out to the side, fingernails forward, wiggle your hand up to clasp. If your hand doesn't clasp, take your strap and drop it from the top hand into your backhand. Now, like we did before, push your head back in your forearm and sit up tall by using that force feedback. And now we're all here on the outside of the hips, right, for sure. And then we're working that stretch through the lats, serratus anterior again, that's here, pec coming up, tricep. One more breath.
Control it as you release the arms. Then unwind that top leg. Either break dance in the side 2 or swap. Take the left leg over the right. Take the feet apart. Then sit back between your heels. Then reach down to the right side, the bottom side first. Pull it back and out. Then that left, the top side. Whew. Big opener here. Take a couple breaths. Just let the body settle. Then the right arm comes in front. Plug, bend, reach behind. Left hand, fingernails forward. Bend the elbow. Wiggle the hand up till you clasp. Or drop the strap. Or use your knee pad. Genius. I used to say, like, use your ponytail or your shirt, right? Like, everything counts, right? It all counts. Now keep pushing head back, yep, and then sitting up tall. And just breathe. And then watch the boing as you release. Unwind that top leg. Spin around, all fours. And just reach your right leg back, open up the knee and the hip a little bit here. Take a couple breaths, pull the belly in, pull those shutters closed. Then lower it down, swap side 2. Then lower it down. Take a couple breaths. Step back to plank. Push back, downward dog. Work through one vinyasa. Reach your right leg straight back, step it through, pigeon. So right knee nice and wide to the right edge of your mat. Left knee's in line with your hip. So you want the base to be wide here. When our knee is in the midline, this isn't going to change. When you take your leg wide, it's not going to change the intensity of the stretch. What's going to change the intensity of the stretch is bringing your shin more parallel with the top of the mat. But taking the knee wide will open up the foundation for you. So if we were to link something up, right, we got a nice base to it. Now push out of the big toe mound and pull back the pinky toe side of the foot like you're pushing on a gas pedal. Then push the knee down and pull it back to you. The back knee, push it down and pull it forward to you. Then pull your pelvic floor up. So you could like hold yourself up, that much power. And then if you want to, from here, walk your hands out in front. I know a lot of you like to fold, so go for the fold. If you want to stay up here in the prep, stay up here in the prep, whatever your flavor is. But fold, don't collapse down. So keep looking out in front of you. And now we're in the back of the hip again. Nice, y'all. You're feeling that work between your shoulder blades in the spine again, because you don't want to be here. All right, don't look to the midline. That's just rounding the upper back and collapsing your neck. Look forward. Keep the spine long. Notice when you look forward, it changes the stretch in the back of the hip. Couple more breaths. And then inhale, come up. Bend your left knee, reach back with your right hand. Take the twist here with the quad stretch. So walk your left hand out towards the edge of your mat. Use it like a kickstand. Open the right side of the chest. Draw the heel towards the sit bone. And breathe. Maybe look up. Watch the boing as you release. Inhale, unwind. Place the hands down. Lift the knees and the hips. Reach that right leg back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Come forward, right knee to left elbow. Kick the leg out to the side. See if you can float it off the floor. Inhale, unwind. Take the heel back.
or the ceiling to the ceiling in the wall. Come forward, kick the leg out to the side. Yep, unwind it, reach back. One more. Making the outside of that hip work. And then lower that right leg, take a breath. Reach the left leg straight back, step it through, pigeon. I mean, since there's breakdancing, who knows, yoga might be in the Olympics next time. And we're gonna bring this pose there, and we're gonna win a gold, right? This is like our studio pose, right? We are known for our pigeons. So, because this is what we see a lot in pigeon. This. Does this feel like to me, this isn't, I don't feel anything. I don't feel any kind of stretch. I just feel like my body's getting tugged apart as compared to here. Right? Here's where the foundation is. This looks like a foundation, right? Something I can build on. This looks like I'm collapsing to one side of my hip, right? Here's where we want to be. So push out of the big toe mound, pull the pinky toe side of the foot back, push the knee down, pull it back. Push the back knee down, pull it forward. There's all the power. Pull the pelvic floor up, like from your junk. Yeah. Now if you want to fold, go for the fold. You all have heard me say, like, I used to think back in the day, this was the hangout pose, right? At the 3/4 mark, where you kind of like lay on the floor, right? And you recuperate. It's not. It's full on this posture. It's so much muscle energy. And when you find the muscle energy in the pose, you find the pose opens up a whole different way. Nice opener here, all on the back of the hip, down the back of that leg. And then go back to the breath. Inhale, come up, place the hands, take a breath. Lift the hips as you unwind that leg, reach it back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Then come fall. Oh, wait a minute, we forgot the quad stretch. Shit. Go back to pigeon. Sorry. Back to pigeon. Bend your right knee, reach back with your left hand. Trina, we're worried on that. Usually you catch me. Usually Trina's like, no, quad stretch, quad stretch. She keeps me going. So take the right hand out to the edge of the mat, turn the bicep forward, root the shoulder back, lean into that arm a little bit. Yeah, now open up the left side of the chest as you take that heel towards the sit bone. And then watch the boing as you release. All right, here we go. Now lift the hips. Take that left leg out or back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Now come forward towards the right elbow as you kick the leg out to the side. Unwind back to where the ceiling and the wall meet. Come forward, kick it out to the side. Unwind. One more. As you lower the leg, take a breath, downward dog. Exhale, lower your knees. All right, let's face, you have a little more room over here. Let's face this way. We're going to go to frog. So walk your knees up so they're at what was the right side of your mat. That's now the top of your mat. The left side of your mat's now the back of your mat. You're going to have your feet parallel here. So this way you're on your mat. Yep. Now take your knees out as wide as feels comfortable to you. You're making 90-degree angles from your foot to your shin to your thigh to your upper trunk. Now we're going to bring our forearms down towards the floor here. Pull your belly buttons in towards your spines. Yeah, pull your shutters closed. Yes. Now keep hugging your knees in to keep the engagement here. And then when you want to stretch, you're going to gently take your hips back to the wall behind you with the window and the door. Don't let the chin fall. Don't lose the core. And here's frog pose. Now, if you feel like you can hold this pose, you're starting to sink to the floor a little bit, you're not tight in your adductors, right? That's okay. Awesome. If this is a little more challenging, you are, and this is what we want to open up. If you need to go further, work your knees, come up a little bit, take your knees out a little bit further, hug back in, then settle the hips back again. And you could just keep playing with the pose wherever you need to, but don't lose the belly. I've said that like 3 times already. Don't lose the shudders. Because if the belly buttons fall into the floor and we're in that anterior pelvic tilt, we're not getting an optimal stretch. We want to neutralize the pelvis here. Starting to get real, right? A couple more breaths. Then inhale, come up, and you're going to go heels in just a little bit, then knees in just a little bit, then heels in a little bit, then knees in a little bit, heels and knees. Yep. Nice, y'all.
All right, grab your mats, find a spot on the wall. We'll go upside down. If you're at home, you don't have the wall to kick on, you can always kick up on, you can always lay on your back. Knees will be bent. And then interlace the hands behind the thigh as you reach the heel to the sky. Take a bunch of breaths, and then you can swap into side 2. If you're at home or you're in the studio, it's not your day to invert. You're always welcome to go legs up the wall or do a pose that feels good to you, okay? Like I always do, I'll talk everyone into downward dog and L pose, but feel free to play with your handstands or your tripods, headstands. We did some shoulder stuff today. You could do Pincha Maya if you want to work with that. If you want to muscle up, you could go headstand and then push up to Pincha Maya. Okay, so you got a couple different options that you could play with. If you're going to go on your own, go for it. If you're going to stick with me, all 4s, hands and knees, feet are touching the wall. That low mountain. Take a couple breaths. When you're ready, lift the knees and the hips, come to a short downward dog. Check in. Feel good, step 1 foot up the wall. Still feel good, step the 2nd foot up the wall. With your knees bent, you'll be in downward dog inverted. With your legs straight, you'll be in L pose. You can go back and forth between them. Nice, y'all. Denise, in Pincha, you want to bring your chest to the middle of the room. Yes. You're going towards scorpion, the back bend. You want to be neutral. It's just like Tadasana, except your arms would be like this or like this, but the rest of it is attempting to go neutral, as compared to this, where we're going to look forward to it. It's kind of opposite because you got to get arms overhead, so you got to go chest to the middle of the room. Okay. We're just talking about Pincha over here, right? And how to work that. When you go up, you want to go chest to the middle of the room. Or like in handstand, we go chest to the middle of the room. That takes the arms truly overhead. That's where we want to be. If we were then linking into scorpion, which I've done with y'all in the past, the back bend, that's when we would look forward because we'd have to change the arms from above to below the head. Yeah. See, that's headstand, right? Yeah, now just go one leg off, more. Take it off more. There's where it needs to be. Now scissor the other leg in. Yes. Yeah. Then what do? Now, when our feet are going to fall to the floor, we're going to push into our elbows, all right? It's going to push us back to the wall. When we need to get our feet off the wall, we're going to push down into our wrists or our hands, and it's going to push us back off the wall, right? And that's how you go back and forth. So give it another, 30 seconds or so. Go for it.
So here's me pushing up to pinch you from headstand, right? So I set my headstand up. Whoops. All right, then from here, I work everything to get myself set, and then I'm going to push down, and up comes my head. Right now, I would normally do this against a wall. I'm trying it up here just because I'm practicing on the mat today, but the wall would definitely be my friend. When you're trying any of those push-up things, you want to be a little bit closer to the wall. Because if you're too far away from the wall, you're going to go into the banana. And then you're going to be fighting the banana. Just like when you do one-handed handstand, we move closer to the wall, right? When we do press up, like if you were doing tripod, the press handstand, you want to be closer to the wall. Otherwise, it's just the banana's going to take over, and you're going to be like this when you're trying to push up, right? So you just move a little closer. All right, we're inverted out. We're ready against some back bends? All right, let's meet on our backs. I'll talk you through two. All right, and then maybe we could hit something else. All right, so let's start here. On our backs, knees are bent, feet are on the floor. They're hips width apart or just a little wider, no narrower because we're going to lose the power. And you can feel your heels with your fingertips. That'll get your knees to stack up on top of your ankles. That's a pretty good measurement. Now start with that neutral pelvis. So neutral pelvis is going to be sacrum flat to the floor. Lumbar spine, you could just wiggle your fingers under. I mean just wiggle, like squeeze them. But you should not be able to get your hand underneath your sacrum. Then charge up the legs, connect to the core. Head and shoulders are back. You could even bring your arms to the side here like robot to give you a little more support. And when you're ready, slowly lift the hips, come to bridge. Interlace your hands behind your back. Wiggle the shoulders under a little bit. Keep your head pushing back into the yoga mat. Gently push your feet down and forward, and you're going to feel like you take that back bend under the shoulder blades even deeper. Maybe reach your hands towards your heels. Let the knees reach forward. Let the upper palate of the mouth reach back so the throat opens up. One more breath. And then release the hands if they're clasped. As you lower down, see if you get that sacrum to land flat. So you're going to go sit bones towards like the backs of your knees a little bit. Belly button to spine. And then take the feet wide, let the knees touch. One hand on your heart, one hand on your low belly. Now on the second one, I'll first talk you into bridge and then wheel. So if you want to play with bridge, play with bridge. If you want to work your wheel, whatever feels good to you. Inhale, open the knees, reset the feet. Arms along the sides or feel your heels first, whatever is going to be your way to get set up. And here we go. Charge those legs up. Core, head and shoulders are back. Slowly lift the hips. If you're going to interlace your hands, if your right pinky was under, left pinky's under. If you're going to go wheel, place your hands wide to the edges of your mat. Turn your hands out. Plug your shoulders back. Push down to come up. Lift your heels up if you need to lengthen the curve a little bit. Pump your heart towards the wall you're looking at. One more breath. Stay engaged as you lower down. See if you get that sacrum to land flat. Take the feet wide, let the knees touch. If your right hand was on your belly, left hand. Opposite hand on your heart. Feet are wide, knees touch. Full breath in, complete breath out. Then open the knees and just windshield wiper side to side. When you balance both sides out, come to neutral. Keep your knees bent, bring your feet hips width apart. Hug your right knee to your chest. Take your left hand to the outside of your foot or your strap. Kick your leg up to the sky. Keep your right hip down. as you take your right leg towards the left. So don't let that right hip come up. Keep it rooting to the floor. And now we're TFL IT band here. Outside of the hip, down the outside of the leg. One more breath. And then bend the knee. As you lower the leg, release the foot. Foot to the floor with the knee bent. Take a breath. Hug your left knee to your chest. Right hand to the outside of the foot or to your strap. Pull on your foot as you kick your foot into your hand. You're going to get a little engagement. Take the heel up to the sky. Keep the left hip down. Cross the leg towards the right. Once you get about past that midline, that's when it starts to happen. All out here. If you're not a TFL IT band person, you're feeling it more from like out here. Stay with your breath. Then bend the knee. Come back to center. Release the foot. Take the legs out straight. Reach the arms up overhead. Big stretch. Feel all that space that we fingers, spread the toes, reach the arms, reach the legs. Hug that right knee towards your chest. Roll towards that left hip. Keep the right shoulder rooted down for the twist. If you want to soften this twist a little bit, you could always bend that bottom leg. I like to extend out of the heel here. That's my flavor. But don't lose the belly and don't lose the shutters. You hear me talk about that in every single twist that we do. It's so important that we rotate the spine properly with those obliques and those spinal erectors and not just manipulate the ribs out. And then inhale, come back to center. Hug that left knee out, that left knee in, take that right leg out. Roll towards that right hip. Keep the left shoulder rooted. Belly in, shutters closed. I say that almost every single pose, right? Belly and shutters. Always connect into the core. A couple more breaths here in this nice twist. And inhale, come back to center. Take that, both legs out, reach the arms up overhead, big stretch. And to the chest, take the knees wide, come to happy baby. Ananda Balasana. So again, pretty much where we started. We're in the insides of the thighs again. We're in the back of the hip again. If you feel like your butt's flying up to the sky, right? Like this is me holding my toes and it's right at my edge. I could pretty much, after a practice like today, I can hold this space. Sometimes I can, I gotta let go. So if I need to, I just let go of my toes and I hold the outsides of my shins. Find the best pose that you can. Again, this might be accessible for some of us today because we work the insides of the thighs. We opened up the back of that hip in a way that will now make this pose more accessible. And then you can reach one leg out or both legs out or rock side to side, whatever feels good to you. And when you're ready, inhale the knees to center, exhale the legs out straight. We'll take Shavasana. Beautiful practice, crew. Feel free to add or remove layers or props. I'll talk everyone through laying flat, but whatever feels good to you. Any variation. Variations could be blocks or blanket behind the knees. We did insides of the thighs, so you could be here in Supta Baddha Konasana. Just take your blocks here to the outsides of your thighs if you're going to be here. Some of you might set up a heart bench, whatever feels good. But take your time. Find that comfortable position. Let the legs stretch out and the feet gently roll open. Let the arms come along the sides and let the shoulders settle back as the open palm turns to the sky. We say that open palm draws in energy. Let your head rest back. Maybe let your eyes close and the tongue to soften from the roof of the mouth. It's here that we let go. Feeling the body continue to get heavier. The breath, as it starts to lighten up, we think about each exhale that clears and removes, and each inhale that draws in something new. And our heart opens and gets ready to move the practice from the mat into the yoga of life. From the yoga of life back to the mat, to practice again. And whether it's on the mat or in the yoga of life, we always know we can take a breath, we can set a foundation, we can engage, and we can re-express a little bit better than we were a moment ago. Begin here to draw in a deeper breath. Feeling the breath wash over the body. Toes to your fingers, to the crown of your head, through your heart, as you reawaken that better version of yourself. As the fingers and the toes wiggle, let the arms and the legs stretch or reach or move in a way that feels good. I'd push your hands down. As you come up to a seated position, we'll meet together with our eyes closed and our hands in front of our hearts.
One more time to seal in our practice, our time together. The sound of Om, all together. Deep breath in. Beautiful. As we softly bow our head to our hearts, our heads to each other's hearts. For all that hard work, that determination, that challenge, the love and the support you always give each other, it's to you that I bow. Namaste. Thanks, crew. Good to see everyone. You know, if you have any questions, get me before you go. Something feels weird in your body, definitely get me before you go. I will be here this Saturday, just to give you all a heads up. I wasn't sure if I was going to be or not. I won't be next week, but this week I will be. So maybe I'll see some of y'all tomorrow or Saturday. If not, I'll see you soon. Thanks, y'all. Home crew, you know how to get me. Thanks, y'all. You're welcome. Thank you.
Thursday night when we drove down. My mom was supposed to come down with us, but she got COVID, so we went down anyway and had a nice weekend. And I was like, an hour and 45 minutes. I was like,
Saturday we